Swish. Pew. Ayo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video, Guild Wars 2 related. Today we're gonna talk about a new update which introduced the new raid wing and a lot of bug fixes and shit, and most importantly also some new events. So those are the two things I'm gonna talk about mainly. The Unrest is spreading in Kryta and the new raid wing, which is Stronghold of the Faithful. Let's start with Unrest is spreading in Kryta. These are new events just like the previous ones with the leyline energy, bandit activity increased, etc, etc. And basically it's again more it has to do with bandits and Unrest in Kryta. So the bandits previously had started, being a little bit more bold and doing a little bit more attacks, and there were a couple of bosses you could do, and you could get like bounties from by getting bandit orders. You could find a bounty which would lead you to a specific location where you could kill a certain bandit boss. Basically that's sort of back. There are a whole bunch of new bosses, there are new achievements, and there is some new enemies in all the locations, because there's a new thingy called I think it's a bandit death mark. No, it's not a bandit death mark. No wait, it is a bandit death mark. You have an accessory and a trophy. So when you log in, you get a trophy, which is a bandit death mark, which means that if you do one of the bosses, one of the bandit bosses from the encoded orders, you have a chance of spawning a executioner, a bandit executioner, which is I think a legendary enemy, because he's just basically there to kill you, because you got a death mark. The bandits really don't like you, they want you dead. So they're sending a certain enemy to attack you and kill you in those places. Kind of interesting. It's just a new enemy with the new, you can get it with the new spawns and with the old ones as well. Then you've got another one, that's the Long Arm of the Light 2 achievement, which is basically you've got 5 extra bandit leaders. Now they're in the Harathi hinterlands, Gendarim Fields and Kessex Hills. So you've got new bosses that spawn every 10 minutes or so that you need to kill, and then you'll get another achievement. And then you've got Informed Politics, which is basically a sort of it's an achievement which you need to do the posters like you had in Fields of Ruin in Ebonhawk, like getting the posters off the wall, that kind of achievement. It's the same thing, but now it's not time gate, you just need to get rid of all the posters. There's about 20 of them, and many of them are about how the Krytan government is failing, how the centaur attacks are increasing, about how Queen Janna is unable to rule the kingdom of Kryta, how, for instance, Scoticus would be way more qualified to lead Kryta, how they shouldn't have made peace with the Char, etc, etc. All of these events pertain to the return of the White Mantle, which is important in the raid update, which is Stronghold of the Faithful, which is you attacking the Stronghold of the White Mantle in the Maguma jungle. So the White Mantle have been trying to resurrect Lazarus the Dyer, and whether or not they've succeeded, it's kind of unclear at the end of the raid, but they've been trying to get him back, and they want to rule Kryta by proxy. They want Lazarus the Dyer to rule Kryta, and they are gonna help him do it. In the end, in the last part of the Stronghold of the Faithful raid, you have something actually kind of interesting. You have a character called Zera, which is one of the White Mantle's High Inquisitors, and she says, "For hundreds of years we have hidden in plain sight, living in your cities, manipulating your politics. Soldiers, farmers, scholars, all swearing allegiance to the cause, all waiting for the moment to strike." Which implies that, first of all, they have quite a bit of power. They have quite a few agents in the cities and in the world, in Kryta, and they've been manipulating politics for a long time, and they're all waiting for the moment to strike. And she also implies that the moment is now because she claims our time is now, we rise from the shadows to claim what is ours. So we're definitely going to see the White Mantle more in the, you know, main story, because they say we want to reclaim Kryta. So we can definitely see some updates there. The question is, will they succeed in taking over Kryta? My honest opinion is it seems that they could take some power, but it seems unlikely that they will succeed completely, because even if they manage to kill Queen Jenna, and that's a big if, they will still have to contend with a lot of other people. There are a lot of people living in Kryta that are descended from Cantha, Ascalon, Alona. They're not really fond, they don't have any connection to the White Mantle, they don't care about those unseen gods, they've never believed in that, they've never, you know, been saved by the White Mantle, so it's going to be unlikely that they are going to follow them. It seems unlikely that Ebonhawk is going to follow those bandits and the White Mantle, because they're still in Ascalon, they don't give a shit about the White Mantle. So it seems rather unlikely that they're going to be able to hold Kryta for long. But if Lazarus the Dire is back and he has some insane magic, they might succeed. We're not really sure. So what can we expect going forward? Well, we can expect more White Mantle. We might actually see a cool conflict arise between the Shining Blade and the White Mantle, between White Mantle agents in the Ministry. For instance, many people suspect or believe that Minister Caudicus is part of the White Mantle, so we can see more conflict between the Queen and one of the most powerful ministers in Kryta. Even the Seraph might, you know, have to deal with more bandit attacks. They might have to deal with more White Mantle attacks. It'll be interesting to see in how they're going to move forward. But if the updates are a sign of anything, probably the next update is gonna do something with the ley line energy, because we started first ley line, then bandits, then more ley line, now more bandits and White Mantle. So if the previous update schedule is something that we can rely on, the next one is probably going to deal with ley line energy again, or it's going to converge. The ley line energy is going to converge in something in the White Mantle storyline. Not really sure, but it is interesting nonetheless. It is very interesting to see what they're going to do, especially with the raids. You've infiltrated and destroyed most of their followers in their stronghold, so we effectively destroyed their base of operations in the Maguma, so they're not really able of going back there unless they want to fight you or the Pact, because you have destroyed, or you have conquered the stronghold, and there's not a lot of White Mantle people left there. So it's kind of interesting if them losing their base of operations weakens them somehow, or if that was just a formality and that most of their agents are in the field and that they don't really need their stronghold to get further orders. It's rather interesting. We also know that Zira, the one we killed, is a High Inquisitor. Usually the White Mantle have been led by a Confessor. The Inquisitors or High Inquisitors are high rank, or at least Inquisitor was. I'm not sure, maybe High Inquisitor has replaced the Confessor rank, but if the Confessor rank still exists, and it would seem unlikely that they changed it, because you still have statues of Confessors, if I am not mistaken. You have one for Saul, you have one for Confessor Dorian, Confessor Isaiah. It seems that they would keep the tradition of that title alive. So the leader of the White Mantle might still be out there. We don't know who he is. We don't know what his plan is, except that he wants to rule, he or she, of course, not discriminating, wants to rule Kryta. So we don't really know what we can expect, but I have a feeling that we're gonna get some information soon. Every 2 weeks there's an update, so we might have to wait a couple of weeks, but I think we can expect some great conflict in the future between Kryta, the Shining Blade, the Queen, and the Seraph, because it seems like most of the Seraph are loyal to the Queen, especially with Logan being one of the main captains of the Seraph. He will never ever betray Queen Jenna, so it would seem likely that he returns back to the capital to help Queen Jenna out. So the serf is probably on their side. The Ministry Guard has always been this corrupt embodiment of the wealthy, and it seems that the Ministry would be closer to the White Mantle and the bandits, because we know in the personal storyline they've tried to set a couple of bandits free again, and eventually killed that Ministry Guard, but we know that she operated on someone else's orders, and those bandits are most likely, you know, supported by the White Mantle, so probably the Ministry Guard will cause some havoc as well. So it'll be interesting to see, but I want to know what you guys think of this update, of where they're going with it, and I'll see you guys with the next video. Bye!